you see this? The loss of all currency was so worth it. There's a hidden banana in King's March. Oh my goodness. PoE 3.25 is the greatest league of all time. Whoa! I'm gonna get myself in a lot of trouble in this video. Seriously. Because I am an elk and go enjoyer in Path of Exile 1. I simply get maps, put an alchemy orb on them, make sure none of the mods brick my character build, and then I hop into a map. On day 6 of the league, I'm just now breaking into reds. That's outing myself as a special kind of Path of Exile player, right? I'm in the minority. You know, most people on day 6 of the league, they already have at least 2 mirrors of Kalandra. They likely have done at least 20, 30 Uber bosses. They've made thousands of trades. They have T1 affixes on all their gear. They're just zooming through the game. And those people, you know, they seem to be suffering a little bit. They seem to think that map loot, ground-based loot, is in a terrible spot come this league. And even though this was a record-breaking league launch with new heights of players both on Steam and overall in Path of Exile 1, and everybody thinking the league mechanic is truly amazing with a few flaws in the way that gold seems to flow from maps to the character to King's March itself, this really seems to be the next core issue that is arising in the community. And I'd like to talk about it here today, bring up a few different perspectives from my own, because I do know I'm likely in the minority of people who are talking on the internet about this particular thing. Most people who are crafting videos about Path of Exile probably don't have my experience. They've probably optimized King's March entirely. They likely are outfitted in great gear, and they likely don't pick up rares off the ground like I do, and they're probably not using the well-rolled rares that are coming from the black market and from the shipping routes. So while I'm also going to highlight some other players' perspectives today on why ground-based loot is destroyed in Path of Exile 1, I'm also going to fight for the state of PoE 1 and how loot is currently functioning. But before I do, make sure if you like this sort of content to hit the like button and to subscribe to Talkative Try for more yappin' Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2 content. Yes, my fellow exiles, I am self-aware. I know that I talk a lot. Hopefully, it's of value to some of you out there. Now, let's get into the video. Big topic on the PoE subreddit right now. Map loot is horrible. Gave it some time, so at least this person gave it some time. They say, playing SSF and not juicing super hard, but have finally ran enough maps to feel confident about the feedback. Map loot drops are pretty horrendous right now. There's such a drastic difference between past leagues and the outcome of maps right now. I've been using rarity gear to hunt for a couple hundred maps, and it's pretty barren doing that. I'm not comparing it to T17s or Giga Affliction. I'm using my overall comparison from previous leagues when they initially launched Meticulous Appraiser. I'd imagine it's due to the changes to Exiles and Tormented Spirits. Overall, not sure, but I don't think pure mapping is in a good place. Things shouldn't be free, and I'm not even saying better uniques need to drop. Just that stuff needs to drop in general. Maybe I'm alone here, but would love to hear from other people's experience. Perhaps I'm unlucky. And I am gonna spoil the comments here. A lot of other people are feeling the same sentiment, at least lots of people who type out messages on the PoE subreddit or on Twitter or in YouTube comments. Because what's really happening, everyone, is the top end has been brought down for now in terms of pure item quantity. This, of course, was going to happen, as this person mentioned, because of the changes to Tormented Spirits and Rogue Exiles and the way that item quantity scales on maps and the fact that item quantity is now gone from gear. All those multipliers are gone, and it's being thrown into item rarity. The less items are dropping, but the items that are dropping should be better, right? You'd think? Well, not necessarily, because in PoE 1, it's still not using the well-rolled rare tier system that we're seeing in PoE 2, where the more you give to item rarity, the higher the tier the items will drop, right? The more powerful items and affixes that will drop. That's not in PoE 1 yet. On the ground. You see, because another thing that casuals like myself, I'm sorry, I gotta call myself a casual. I just got into red maps on day 6 or 7, whatever. The thing that we're having a good time with is the well-rolled rare system from the black market with Faustus. Yes, I'm spending gold on it instead of upgrading my town. I know I'm a complete masochist, seriously. And then the well-rolled rares from shipments too. I love those. They're helping me out a ton, and this is coming from someone who does pick up items off the ground and has progressed to 40 out of 40 with ground-based loot. I know it's crazy. It's not an opinion that is usually pushed out there by content creators, but that's what I did last league. You can take a look at my character. Somebody called out my belt for being absolutely abysmal on my volcanic fissure of snaking juggernaut. Yeah, it was, but I was clearing T17s. I killed a few Ubers, but not all of them, and I got 40 out of 40 challenges. It was great. It felt great, and it was a ground-based loot item that I found, and I used it all throughout the game. Did this for a lot of my gear. But a lot of people that are very vocal in the community, they think that if you're not getting massive amounts of gear, and particularly item drops such as currency or maps or chisels and the like, that loot is in a bad place. Well, what I think that may have happened with this particular league and Path of Exile in general, the quantity changes came in, and perhaps there were also some changes to the way that currency drops work too, right? Because what did they add into the game with this league? Well, one, they added gold, and that feels really good. I don't know about you, but I love the way gold feels. When it drops from monsters, I do get that little dopamine hit. It has a lot of different interactions with various systems, and I feel like I'm always getting value when I'm doing any type of content, right? Except Sanctum. Screw Sanctum. Doesn't give gold, but it gives the best currency in the game, right? Definitely true. In addition to gold, there's also the currency exchange market, which makes trading currency even easier than before. It's super easy, right? It's simple. Now, SSF people, they don't get to experience this. And it seems like, from my perspective in the comments, it's SSF people that are really noticing this change. Curious, right? Wondering if there were some changes here to the way currency works. And now we're all getting less currency, but it's so easy to trade all this stuff on the market. It doesn't feel necessarily bad for us trade players. You know, I've been very lucky. I got 3 divines in like an hour of playing in white maps. But besides these SSF players mostly and the blasters, I haven't seen many complaints. I think your average player is doing well and having fun with the league mechanic and with the loot drops. But people who are on the top end, right? The blasters, the people like this. Let me bring this up right now. People who blast, like this guy right here. Subtract him. He was blasting. He tried group play for the first time. Worst league ever to try group play, okay? Did not go over well, unfortunately, for Subtractum. And then this guy right here, Snap. He's been doing group play forever, absolutely rocking it with his friends, the most successful group play group out there that doesn't cheat. And he also has described both group play and solo play as not being in a great place, in fact being very similar to Lake of Kalandra. So these blasters, and then people who are playing SSF, are really experiencing this change perhaps, while myself, who isn't blasting and is just using the market and progressing slowly, I haven't really noticed it. So maybe those are the only people that this is really affecting right now, and that's why they're being so vocal about it. And then there's another perspective. So one, I'll go to the comment first right here, because it expresses exactly my thoughts on the topic. Me as an Elkin-Go enjoyer, welp, everything looks the same to me. Yes, that's exactly how I feel. But Vixen right here brings up another very interesting point, okay? Because remember, there was a huge exploit or abuse case this league, but GGG quickly fixed it, banned the players, and took out all the currency made in the particular case out from the trading game. They were not reinserted back into the economy, so it didn't really have a massive effect. However, this person brings up an interesting case of maybe what happened. So he says, less loot is better than FOMO, fear of missing out, of breaking the game with a strat that gets nerfed 3 days later. Remember, in Necropolis League, that was basically the first 3 weeks of Path of Exile. There was a strategy that came out, it was busted, it was generating tons of currency, lots of divines, lots of other stuff, and then it would get patched from the game. Okay? Maybe we'll read through this person's response right here, or this person's thread, but maybe GGG is saying, let's not allow this to really be possible. Let's not allow these crazy use cases to be out there, and maybe we'll make adjustments mid-league, buffing up currency in the right direction. They're playing it safe rather than having to allow people to just break the game and then pulling back, right? So let's read this exact response here. To get it out of the way, I personally agree that loot needs to be better. Okay, so making his point clear. At the same time, I am glad that I am not 2 days late for a broken strategy that warped so much of the economy that it is now too expensive to run it. He's talking about the scarabs and the anarchy, all flames, and the like. Because every single league from Kalandra until now, there was an exploit to make you rich quick, and I think the absolute worst case was in Necropolis. And now there isn't. Your favorite, the most broken strat thumbnails are not going to be catchy this league, nor would I want them to be. Okay, all right, go after the YouTubers, got it. I am glad that group play is nuked to the average single player experience, and am glad that there is no broken strategy that everyone jumps to until it becomes so expensive to run that it is no longer profitable. I agree with him on this point. I do. I like that group play or group players aren't able to control the entire economy of the game. You know, a lot of the wealth and a lot of the, you know, driving of the market was probably behind 100 people. You know, 100 to 200 people who farmed the game, had the best strategies and currency systems, and they just controlled everything. That doesn't seem to be possible right now. Maybe something will be found out after I release this video, but right now, as we saw right here, with Snap, with Subtractem, with the very catchy YouTube title, Group Play is officially dead, you know, that's the expression that's going out right now. Okay. Scarabs and general loot from net maps need tuning. And I personally like the big scarab currency explosion from Ghosts. Okay, so once again, people talking about Ghosts and everything tying back to Ghosts and how they were causing the explosion. So really, it seems like people were abusing this for the longest time, and they were so used to getting massive amounts of quantity from Ghosts and those specific strategies. However, I am not quitting the league just because I am not filthy rich in the first week of playing. Vital. I think GGG will address the loot, and I think they need to revert the change as it was advertised for the shipments. Now, we still don't know everything about the shipments, everyone. People are talking about they're not seeing this screen right here. Where is it? Where is it? There's a screen up here. Yeah, this is what GGG showed us in the trailer. Nobody's seen something like this before. We don't exactly know how it works yet. Maybe we can get here after leveling up all of our workers to max, making maximum favor with all the different ports and other various things. Maybe there are certain combinations we need. We don't exactly know. Perhaps they'll address it, perhaps not. It's only about a weekend. We'll figure it out, everyone. Anyway, back to the post. If there is a complaint of mine, it's that shipments are abysmal. See, I've just had the complete opposite experience. Shipments have helped me upgrade my gear with the well-rolled rares system. They're giving me a steady stream of currency and everything. I'm getting the runes for runesmithing. I'm a fan of it, but I'm not this person. I haven't been spamming the game the entire time. So as someone who, like I said, just got to red maps, or even as someone who's just playing through the campaign, the system works really well right now. And I think as a long-term progression system, as perhaps this is, it works incredibly well. Okay. Edit. I didn't know that most people here will resonate with what I said. I am pleasantly surprised. I hear the other side as well, and there's valid criticism. However, coming from two ultra-juiced leagues, I don't think it's that much of a problem for you to struggle through this one. My opinion is that Sanctum shouldn't be nerfed. Sanctum, like I said, is the largest currency generation currently in the game. Gold does not drop there. But the other part of the game should be elevated to Sanctum's level of profit, or meet them both in between. I am not a Sanctum runner. However, nerfing always feels worse than buffing other parts of the game. I agree with this individual once again. Great message, great post. Little divisive though, right? What are your thoughts on all of this? Because seriously, I don't think loot is destroyed in the game. Once again, I'm not a top-end juicer. I'm not someone who's blasting through reds. I haven't done hundreds of red maps yet. I haven't done formed rotations over and over again yet. From my perspective, it's in a good spot and it feels good. But lots of other people seem to be having an issue. And I'd love to hear your perspective on it in the comments below, everyone. Seriously, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you'd like to see more PoE 1 and PoE 2 content in the next few days, months, years to come, make sure you subscribe to Talkative Try. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Talkative, my fellow exiles.